So, Jason, the Washington Post is also reporting today that the Treasury Department is asking federal agencies about cutting back on their spending, slowing down some of their payments to see how much can be saved to sort of stretch out the June 1st deadline. Can you give us a reality check of how much leeway does Treasury have, since they seem very far apart on any deal?
Yeah. So first of all, Andrew, as you pointed out, the brinksmanship itself is doing damage to the economy, and they have relatively little leeway. They don't know exactly what date this hits, but the closer and closer your cash balance gets, the more you're in risk of the federal government basically bouncing a check. And this isn't like Joe the plumber who's just, rearranging their payments to make sure they have enough in their checking account. The federal government just needs to treat their finances in a very different way. And the idea that they have painless, magical ways to get around this that I hear about, frankly, from both sides is just wrong.
And American diplomats are already saying that other countries are talking about the U.S. and not understanding our political process, that it's not the kind of legislative process that they can understand from the world's greatest democracy and the world's greatest economic power. Brendan, just how tough is it to cut a deal that can pass in this narrow and divided House, that can also get through the Senate, and which will take a certain amount of time, at least 72 hours, the Speaker said, as I pointed out, so that people can read the bill. Then you've got to go through the Rules Committee. That'll be relatively fast if it's something that he's agreed to. But, how many days is that?
Yeah, I think all that sort of second phase stuff is actually the much more important stuff. And the question that Garrett asked, I think, is really key. I don't think this is that complicated of a deal to get. We're not talking about that many different items. And I do think there is a little more time for some of this posturing before they absolutely have to get something. That's probably why there is still posturing taking place, because they do have probably another day or two to get there. But what Kevin McCarthy was talking about there, I appreciate everything about what you said about money being walled off and inflation. I think Kevin McCarthy is just talking about what we call discretionary spending, basically the operating budgets of the various government agencies. And what he's saying is we need to spend less this year than last year. That is a huge departure from the $130, $140 billion the House talked about cutting in that budget. Now, I'm a little nervous for Kevin McCarthy when he comes back to his conference with a deal that meets that test. Maybe it spends less if he can get that. But we're talking about 5, 10, maybe $15 billion. That's a huge difference from the 140 that the House said is their position. And I wonder how House members are going to react to that. We know Democrats are getting angsty about having to vote for this kind of deal, feeling like they're giving something. I'm really nervous about the ability to pass a deal once they get it. I think a deal is not that hard to get, but passing it is going to be quite the roller coaster.
And I'm really interested, Brendan, when he says that they've already made a concession by agreeing to even lift the debt ceiling. Maybe he's not saying that, but Bob Good and several of the others in the Freedom Caucus are saying that.
Yeah, I appreciate him being direct and honest about that. I mean, that's kind of what's going on here. Debt limits are the hardest thing we ever pass in the House for Republicans. I've joked that once we pass a debt limit increase, the Speaker gets about 5 minutes to relax before you start thinking about how you're going to handle the next one. So it's a difficult thing. You always need to find some way to work around it, attaching it to something else. But yeah, it's going to be very hard for him to go to his members and say, here's this deal I got. It cuts I don't know exactly what the number is going to be, but it cuts tens of billions of dollars, let's say. It has permitting reform, perhaps. Maybe we have something working around the edges on work requirements. That's about as ambitious as we're looking here, and that's a big departure from what a lot of House Republicans are saying McCarthy should hold out for.
And Jason, you have a point you want to make.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything Brendan said with going back to the Republican caucus. But here's the thing. Remember, it won't just be blank is cut from spending. There'll potentially be money added to defense, which means an even bigger cut to non-defense. So, yes, maybe the Republicans will be disappointed with the top line spending cuts. But then what will the Democrats think when a bunch of the non-defense cuts are happening not really to cut the debt, but in order to fund extra defense? So there's a lot of difficulties on all sides here. And that's why I think there's only so much the Speaker can reasonably ask for. Of course, there needs to be some form of compromise here. But, let's not pretend this is about the debt when you're raising defense spending. When he started out saying he wanted to reduce tax enforcement, things like work requirements have little budgetary impact. This is about the speaker's agenda, and he should be clear about that, not pretend this is really about the debt.
That's such a good reminder, Jason, because the war supplemental that was passed this year only takes us to September. There's going to be a huge extra appropriation for Ukraine.